I don't think anyone is deluded into thinking that Thames Water are doing a good job, certainly not me and certainly not my constituents. Since I've been elected to this House, hardly a year has passed without a major water infrastructure issue, which has left hundreds of my constituents without water for days on end. And that's not to mention the years of my life in my constituency where I've been a victim of Thames Water, extremely shoddy service myself. Other than 3 years in Yorkshire, I have had to endure Thames Water for that in the entirety of that time. And Thames Water has actually shown very little concern for the impact that this has had. In 2023, a burst water pipe on Brixton Hill left residents without water for 3 days. Last July, on one of the hottest days of the year, residents of Clarence Avenue had their water shut off without any prior notice. And as recently as December, faulty valve pumps in Brixton left homes without water for longer than 4 days. Now, these are just the most recent incidences. As I've said, since I began in this House, there have been a number of them. And I know it's not just residents of Clapham and Brixton Hill who would have experienced these disruptions in service, so you can imagine my constituents' outrage when, in wake of their poor service and increased bills, they see Thames Water shareholders and directors receive millions of pounds in dividends. In October 2023, Thames Water made interim dividend payments totalling £37.5 million to its holding company, Thames Water Utilities Limited, whilst the pipes are literally rotting under our feet. And in March 2024, the company made further dividend payments amounting to £158.3 million, from which they received non-cash benefits, and that's whilst the quality of water continues to decline every single year. The Thames Water chairman, Sir Adrian Montague, was accused of conflict of interest over the £37 million dividend payment to shareholders in February this year. Under his tenure, Thames Water paid £195.8 million in dividends, breaching Ofwat rules, who fined them just £18 million. But Thames Water paid £0 of this £18 million fine. And I agree with the honourable member when he opened the debate that, Ofwat is also not fit for purpose. And I also, for those who maybe have a better understanding of how such things work, do not understand how a company in debt and a company that is failing and a company whose infrastructure is damaged has the money to pay dividends to its shareholders. While my constituents' taps run dry, the fat cats of Thames Water are literally being able to turn on theirs. But of course, this is not to drink the water because they know better. And the cherry on the sewage-filled cake, on Tuesday, my constituents and millions of Thames Water customers woke up to what would have been the world's worst April Fool's Day joke, but instead it was a grim reality of a 31% bill increase. One constituent recently wrote to me because they're experiencing a 45.8% monthly increase on their bill. It will be rising from £36.55 to £53.30 a month. The service will remain shoddy, but the price they're made to pay will rise. And Thames Water are rinsing my constituents, pouring sewage into our waterways, siphoning off money to shareholders and hiking up bills to pay for it. And it's fair to say that Thames Water's management is comparable to what they're dumping in the Thames crap. It's just crap. They are running the company's finances into the ground and relying on the government to bail them out, all the while leaving my constituents in the vulnerable position of having no running water at times. And if they're relying on the government to bail them out, as taxpayers, we are literally paying them twice. They clearly cannot be trusted to legitimately operate such a vital service, and they certainly shouldn't be allowed to pocket thousands of pounds in the process. So I do believe that the government should be supporting Thames Water, but in fact, I think that the government should be fully supporting Thames Water back into public ownership. That is the only support they should be giving them. Rather than allowing a US private equity firm to take it over, it should be taken over by the government and made accountable to its service users, the British public. Those who are against nationalisation as an ideological on an ideological basis will say that competition is needed to ensure innovation and the best service. But as you've heard already, there is no competition for Thames Water. Which other water company can my constituents switch to when the service is poor? It makes no sense to me that a new private company should be allowed to take over and reap the profits with little incentive to provide a better service. My constituents deserve a better service than what they're currently receiving. I do not believe that the continued private ownership of Thames Water will bring that. Public ownership is not going to solve every single issue with Thames Water, but it will certainly solve more than allowing an American company to take it over and profit off the backs of my constituents. Thank you.